29th of August, Rabbi Furst, Pierke Avos, burial. Okay, we're recording.
Okay, good morning. This is Rabbi Shlomo Furst, Yeshiva Tzalman here in Yerushalayim, Kerem Zoom. This is our first here in the morning. We're in the middle of our discussion about the halacha in terms of the ashes of those who were cremated in the concentration camps by the Nazis, among some. What halakhic status does the ash have in terms of burial or not? So for that, we're in the middle of the tshuva that we had here, based on the part 3 of Frank from Yerushalayim of the last generation. And let's see, he's a minute. Okay, I guess we could pick up again. Okay, let's begin here. If you see here, it says,
You're not on the screen yet. You're not on the screen.
No,
Or your
okay,
screen's not up.
let's see.
I must have the wrong, I don't have the right sheet. Let's see.
There it is. Should be on your sheet right now. It's the sheet beginning with Shilas and Shu. First line, Shilas, Shuva's heart, Svi, Yeridea, Simon, Reish, Ayin, A.
Got it.
Oh, I do have it. So why can't I see?
Okay, so if you see, there, he brings down the Shilas and Shuva's Yavitz, pay the K, Simon, Kuf Samitas, Feli Pesif, that paragraph bringing over Nisri is Sani, the Guf Dibri Shalas. I looked into the actual words of the Shalas Shuvas Yavitz, Barisi, and I saw, have it there?
Yep.
Okay,
Yes.
very good. Would like to be in?
I would.
Okay, Lou, go ahead.
Okay, I saw it. Must hear the shame Sefer
Lechem upon, that's Lechem Upanim.
Lechem Upanim. I saw it mentioned in the name of the book Lechem Upanim, Shekotev Gam, that is written there. Savra, he holds de Mehat, that the reason
The Mahai timer, right? Mahai timer. He holds it from this
timer from this reason, Efshar Hasrofim HaKadoshim, it's possible that the holy ones that were burned, Tzrichin Kavura, they need to be buried. Bishvil Ha'etzem Shalo Nisraf, because of bones that were not burned. Gam Ein HaKohen Rishoi Le Yitma Le'osho. Also, a Kohen, it's not proper for him to become tamei from them, from these ashes. Mishum oso etzem, because of those bones. Im lo b'makom mitzvah, if it's not a mitzvah, the mutar, that it's permissible a kohen, for a kohen l'tamei, to become tamei, v'ha'afar le'ahafar, for the ashes, bishvil ha'etzem, because of the bones. Hayinu mishum etzem luz. It is because of the luz bone, which we said was a particular bone in the base of the skull that it seems to survive.
Right. That's a very that's the source of where Tias Chamesim will take place. So that obviously is a very resilient bone.
This Ayin Sham, see there?
Ayin Sham, right? Ayin Sham.
The Tama,
Mm.
the mistabar, who le hatzrich gam mishum kach. And the reason, the logical reason for this, that it's needed also because of this. The Krov afar, to bury the ashes, Hakadoshim, of the holy ones. I don't know what Mem Shin is.
The Hamak Shemoy, Umasha Kasif, Umasha Kavos Hayavitz.
And what is written by the Yavitz
Sham, there, over there.
there, the dechos ze yesh le teretz. What's the dechos?
Because you can challenge it, the litchos, you could challenge it, and yesh the Torah.
It can be challenged, and the challenge can be answered.
Right.
Uve peret.
Ube prat, doing specifically.
Uve prat, and specifically, the nuga. It's relevant, lezet, to this. She yitz parchu mishum kach, that it's required because of this krova to bury below the nuga, and it's not relevant lit tum as hakohen, for the tuma of the kohen. Umochach Ivitz, and it's evident to the Ivitz Sham over there, Shebenuga, that it's relevant le ha sa lahochacha.
It's relevant, that particular point. It's evident from the Yavit Sham that what's relevant to the proof, right? Which is relevant to the proof.
Le hatzricha tzirchas hakarova hakavura.
Right.
That there's a need for a burial. Eno cholek miklau.
Alzeh.
Alzeh. You do not go. At
There's
all, according to this?
there's no dissent on this. There's no dissent on this. He's not arguing on this. Meaning, there's a specific point about the tumor for the kohen and the mitzvah for the kohen to bury, if there's going to be tumor or not. So that's a specific point, right? Which can be challenged, and that can be answered as well. But nevertheless, the actual requirement for kavura, on that you don't see that the Ivan is arguing about. Meaning he's also of the opinion that the ash does need to be buried.
Regardless of whether or not it's a source of tumor.
Right, that's right.
Okay, weiter.
Yeah.
Bezeh shematzinu bishvas noda b'Yehuda. And this that we find in the writings of the Noda b'Yehuda.
Yes, exactly. Very good.
I don't know this abbreviation. Mehad Dok.
Mahadura Kama, the first volume.
I'm sorry, what?
Mahadura Kama, which means from the first volume.
Oh, the first, Hadora, first volume. Shedin, Bedin, Rakav, Shalo, Shayich.
Bodin Kavura.
Bo Din Kavura. What is this? Shedin Bedin, the law in the law?
Right, the law which is of the Rekev. That's the Rekev is the what they call the English word, I guess. It's the after the body decays. So there's they call it the humus, the decayed matter of the body, right? So the decayed matter of the body, right? That's something else. Okay, that's what the Nota Yehuda is talking about. That the decayed matter of the body. So there he says that the Nota Yehuda done. He's going into details to examine and analyze the din of Rekev Shelo Shayach Beidin Kfur, that it's not relevant there, the concept or the requirement of burial.
So the status of the decayed matter of the body is not relevant to the law of burial?
Right. He's going into details and to understand whether it is or not.
Okay. But I'm a little confused because if you have the decayed matter, doesn't that mean the burial already happened?
Not necessarily. I mean, it depends. Depends. I mean, classically, that's what happens when the body's buried. But sometimes there can be bodies which have not been buried. You know, there's
Be like
remember,
an example of the soldiers that were killed and the bodies are being held by the Palestinians.
that could be. Yeah, that could be. I remember there was on Mount Everest. There was some guy, that he was I don't know, he slipped or something like that. Anyway, he was hanging from his he was hanging there from his he had obviously bolted himself into the mountain, but then he slipped and he was just hanging there out in space out there, and no one could get to him, and he just stayed there for I don't know how long, and just was there, just hanging. They called him green boots because he had green boots that he was wearing.
Wow.
Then finally the ropes, because of the wind, snapped, and then he fell down to wherever he fell down to. But yeah, so many times there's no burial, and then they just have the organic mass,
Right.
which remains. So that's a question that the Nota Yehuda takes up, whether or not that organic mass needs to be buried. I mean, if it hadn't been buried previously, if it wasn't there along with the body.
There's been a few cases of people trying to climb Mount Everest that they disappear.
Yeah.
And they're never seen again. So we don't know what I guess the snow covers them.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, they get into accidents, and then that's the end of them. I think I was someone was telling me, I think now you have, before you go up to climb the mountain, you have to register and you have to leave $10,000 deposit in case they have to send helicopters up to catch you.
$10,000 deposit? Wow.
Yeah, that's right.
That's in addition to the thousands that they spent getting there
That's right. Sure.
and
Yeah,
all the equipment that they had to buy.
that's right. That's right. See, it's better. Sometimes it's better not to have money. You don't do these crazy things.
And what a waste.
Mhm. That's right. So, yeah, okay, and then we get back to our point here. So, uma'ayin b'devorav, so he says, take a look into his words of the Noda B'Yehuda.
Yir'eh shechol makom divonu who Yir'eh, we are afraid.
No, we'll see. Hama'ayin b'devorav yiru, the person who will look into his words will see. Yiru, he will see.
We'll see. Okay. That nevertheless, I don't know.
That this is shekol makom. You nevertheless is mikol makom, but here shekol makom is every place.
Everywhere. I don't know this word. Do you know?
Do you know who in shekol makom? Do you know that the whole every place that this halachic question comes up, right? Every shekol makom, do you know who? Every time this question in halakha comes up,
But the ikar laheter, the essence of the permissibility, mishum kach, is because of this. This being the decayed matter.
the question of the decayed matter as to what status it has, if it needs to be buried. So it says kol makom, every place where this question in halakha comes up, that the primary permissibility is because of what follows, because of the following.
Oh, the following. Okay. Hafi.
Hapinui behem b'shas hatzorach. Hapinui is mean they want to. They for some reason they need to exhume the body. Okay, that if you take a look at the Noda B'Yehuda, you'll see that every time this question has come up, it's always been in relationship to exhuming the body, meaning the body has to be exhumed b'shas hatzorach. For some need, it has to be exhumed. It has to be reburied in someplace else, right?
All right.
So in that case, the question has come up as to what to do with the decayed matter of the body. When you're exhuming the body, is it required that you take out the rest of the decayed matter from around the surrounding body or not? That's the question. That's the question that's always been asked in terms of the decayed organic mass of the body, as to whether or not it has to be buried or not. That's the context of all the questions that ever came up with that question.
Val eno ola al daiso klal.
Daito club.
Daito klal. But it does not go up upon my opinion at all.
But his opinion, the das of the Noda Ben-Yehuda, it never occurred to him at all.
Leheter le hashiram mishum kach. What is lahashiram?
To have lahatir lahashiram, to to permit the remains. I think he's referring to the remains, to permit the remains.
Because of this.
Yeah, meaning lahati la'ashiram mishum kach. He says like we have to continue the sentence. Mishum kach has v'sholom.
Chas v'sholom le hiyutam mushlachim kedomain al penei ha'adamah. I don't, this whole sentence, I don't know.
Okay, so again, so but it never occurred to him, the Noda B'Yehuda, at all, to permit them lahashiram, to have them remain there, to have the ravak, the humas, to remain there. Why? Because if they would be left there in the exhumed grave, it would be as if they're just being thrown as inorganic matter on the face of the earth.
That's one of the benefits when someone is buried in a coffin. Because if all you have to do is move the box, so to speak, and everything's in there.
Right.
But
Right.
if you bury without a coffin,
Well, usually they're buried in tachrichim, and usually everything
Yeah.
is in the tachrichim as well.
right?
So therefore the reason why you need to exhume the humas as well is because if you don't, it'll be just treated as inorganic, regular inorganic mundane matter, which I imagine the difficulty with that is it's somewhat of bizoyan. It's it's not respectful to the remains of the body.
Mishum de afilu ne'amar the ein bahem chiyuv krova, because even ne'amar, the statement
That even if you'll suggest,
even if you'll suggest that there is no obligation to bury nekach etzem mitzvos krova. There is a mitzvah to bury the bones.
right,
Aval yesh bahem chiyuv krova biglal ta'amim acherim, but there is an obligation to bury. Biglal is the whole thing.
Biglal, because of timing machrim, because of the other reasons, as we mentioned before. As he spoke, basically was referring to the honor and the to make sure there's no disgraceful things done with the remains of the body in terms of the ash.
So there's basically no obligation to bury the decayed matter like there is to bury the bones.
Right.
But there are still many reasons to bury the decayed matter.
Correct. That's right.
Od zos yesh mitzvah b'kavuras afar. In addition to this, there is a mitzvah to bury the ashes. Nisrafim, of the burned, of the cremated one. Mishum kavod hachayim, because of the honor of a living being. Gam mishum kavod ha-mesim, and also because of the honor of the dead person. E mishum bizioni, e mishum kipara, and if because of a disgrace.
Yeah, the double the mishum bezoini, mishum kapari, either because of the disgrace or because of the atonement.
Either because of the disgrace or because of the atonement. Why would it be either or? They don't seem to be mutually exclusive.
No, that's what it means, either or.
Could be both, though, right?
Yeah, that's right.
V'zecher the devar shagam al afar hames. And remember the the matter that also concerns the ashes of the dead person.
Like it says, like I think zeichel davar, and there's like a sort of like a hint of this, or there's a indication of this.
I see. That also the ashes of a mace, how inyan din shemish ukapara, that they attach to the idea of the law of atonement. What is shamim?
That zeichel davar shagam alafa hameis chal alav din shemayim v'kapar. There's also chal. There's also existing on the ash a status of shemayim, meaning of something which has to do with the spiritual aspects and of the atonement. Din shemayim v'kapar. There's a din shemayim v'kapar. There's a judgment in shemayim and a kapara as well.
I thought we said when there was a cremation, there was no kapara.
Excuse me?
Didn't we say earlier that if there's a cremation, there's no kapara?
Yeah, we mentioned that, right? This is the cremation again. Well, it's all, you have to make a distinction when a cremation was done willingly or done against the person's will.
Oh, so we're talking, I mean, specifically in the case of the Holocaust victim.
Yeah, that's right.
Matzino begitten, we find in Gittin, in the Gemara in Gittin, Gabe Titus, concerning Titus, the Roman emperor, I guess.
Right.
De Amarle Dine, and he said to him that the law, b'mai the pasuk
enough. That the Amarle Gabititas, the Amarle the Dine, the Mai the Pasuk Anashe, that they judge him according to what was decided about himself. They judge him according to what was decided about himself.
What does that mean?
We'll see. The Gemara, it says, the Gemara explains. Oh, Yoma, each day,
mechnasi lay lekit my v'dayane lay. Every day, what is this mechin shay?
that I think he is ground up, he's crushed.
And Tit May,
Like he's ground up to powder.
And judged the kalo lay, and he is called Vadro Esav.
Right, so
Yemei.
right, with Dainile, they judge him, the Kalule, and then he's burnt, Umivardor Eshev Yoma, and then they like reconstitute and bring him back for the next day.
Forever.
Yeah.
This is what they told Titus that would happen to him.
This is what happened. This is what happens to him. Right?
Didn't he try to escape the judgment by getting on a ship or something? Wasn't there he tried to do something to escape the din before?
I'm not sure.
Something about that he thought he could escape Hashem's judgment on the ocean. He thought that Hashem was in control of the land, but not the ocean. Something on that order.
Yeah, no. So that's what he was on the boat returning to Rome, and so he was. Then Hashem brought a storm to sink the vessel he was on. So he made his statement. You see that there's only power on the land. There's not power on the ocean. So Kadosh Baruch Hu said, "See, okay, we'll wait till you get onto the land." So when he got onto the land, so Hashem had a mosquito or some type of a fly into his, I forgot it was his nose or his ear, and then bored a hole into his brain, and then stayed there to the rest of his life and just fed off his brain. And then he finally died, brainless. But that was only what happened to him in this world. This is describing what happens to him in the next world. So he seems to be. So I'm not sure of the proof he's bringing there. I guess he says, there's judgments taking place on a constant time in the next world. I'm not really sure what the proof is for what he's trying to make the point over here about. But anyway, Yesh Od La'arik cases. He's also right to.
What is laha'arich?
To elaborate. Yesh od la'aretz, there's also more to elaborate.
Harava, be
Harbe, a lot.
harbe, beho chachas, ha divarim, de afar, ha kidoshim, to onim karova. There is also to elaborate greatly. What is this word hochachat?
With proofs. There's further to elaborate greatly with proofs of these things.
Of these things, that the ashes of the holy ones is to onim,
So only they require.
burial. But Pashali, it's difficult to me. The eight lavo od al kach the arichos. It's difficult for me at the time that also comes concerning this. What is ba'arichos?
In depth.
Yeah, it's difficult for me right now to go into this now with in detail. So he says there's many more proofs he could bring, but he doesn't have. He's not in a situation right at that point to have gone into it in detail.
What proofs of what?
That the ash requires to be burial.
Oh. So somehow this story about Titus has to do with that?
All he brought that as a indication that you see that there are obligations that the neshama has to go through even after the time of death and burial. So because of that, he's understanding from that even the ash has to be buried as well.
But only for the Kedoshim.
Right. Okay. Okay. Now, let's see. The next two paragraphs are that Tzitzi Eliezer. He mentions, he speaks about this point as well, right?
Okay, should I continue?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, Osif Bizah, the Hashilmas Hadvarim shall
Lahashlamas.
the Hashlamas Hadvarim shall Nido Nanu. So we can add to this. Hashlamos is the completion.
Yeah, Lahashlamas of Devarim to complete these things. Shall Nidudeno to complete our investigation.
V'hu zeh. And this is it.
Right.
de le fanad, I don't know.
The Fiani is daiti, in my humble opinion.
In my humble opinion, near lidavar pashit. It seems like it's a simple thing. And it's clear, ki vadai, because certainly, ika mitzvah le chiyuva likrov afar, that there is a mitzvah and an obligation to bury ashes, hakadoshim, of the holy ones. Ma she mitz shematzinu the afar nisrafim she'eni mehachi shehaguf kayam. Okay, so and that we find that the ashes that have been burned, they are not from here that the body exists.
Yeah, it's obvious that the alpha of the kadoshim has to be buried. Uma shemitzinu the alpha on is roughing shiny. That what we find, that the ash of the cremated ones is different. Meheched shaguf kaima, that from when the body is intact, meaning there is a difference between when the body's there and when there's no body, it's just ash. There is a difference. What is that difference?
Nir'eh dehu rak la'inyan shalo mitame. We see that it is only a matter that it's not tameh. Mutar le kohanim le hit maos lahem, and it's permissible for the kohanim. What is hitamos?
That they should become tameh.
Oh, to become tameh for them.
If there's no other choice.
Right. That's what we said earlier. Right. That's right.
Because it's like finding a body by the side of the road. If a Kohen's by himself, he has to take care of it.
Right. Exactly.
Well, what has he said?
That the difference between burying the ash and burying the body when the body's intact is that the ash is different from the aspect of the Kohen becoming tameh, meaning when the Kohen is you have to know if there's any bones left in the ash or not, and that will make a difference as to whether or not the Kohen can be tameh for the ash or not, depending if there's bones. Whereas the case of the body is always going to be causing the Kohen to be tameh.
So, but if anytime we're dealing with a mace or a cemetery or some question, they have to go on the strict side and assume there's bones.
Right.
Right. I mean, so that's why the Kohen is can't do anything.
Right.
If it's a suffix, in other words, anytime there's a suffix, he has to be excused.
Right.
Right. You don't go.
No, and the suffix
cooler.
can't be. And also if there's someone else that can do it instead.
Right.
Okay. Ayin ba'olos, that's the Mishnayos and Oilers. That's the Mishnayos that discuss about Tumas Mace.
Wow, this is a long reference.
Okay, Perek Beis, Mishnah Beis, the Rambam, and the Rambam Perek, Mishnayos Sham, Sefer, Sefer, not sure, Sefer, Yudalid, the Perek Gimel, Mahalcha Beis, Tumas Mace, Halacha
Is
Tet.
that your dad? Isn't that your dad?
I thought about that, but I don't know why would put down Sefer Yeridea. That's usually not
Yeah.
how you could, and
Say
also,
Shulchan Aruch or something. Yeah. Okay.
unless he's referring to Sefer of the Rambam, Yad Chazaka,
Mhm.
maybe. Okay. Anyway, the point is here, Avot Tzrichim. That's what he's trying to bring down.
But it's required, sarif, karova, it's required to burn burial.
Shapir, not Syria. Shapir. Shapir.
Oh, shapir.
Right? Mekamatami, they Avot Tzrichim Shapik Kura Mekamatami. They require, they surely, Shapir in this case means like they surely require burial for many reasons. Rashis.
First reason, me.
The Mefas said from this point of view, the Mefas said from this point of view,
that asurim the behena
Bahana,
behana, that it's forbidden to get benefit. The whole nikvarim from any burial.
yeah, meaning there anything that requires burial is forbidden to get benefit from.
Nisrafu, that burning a serene is forbidden, bahana, for benefit, kid to Isa, besof to Mura, that it is in the end Tamura. What's Tamura?
So Masech, at the end of we see the end of the Sechus tomorrow.
Right.
Oh, that's a Gemara.
Right.
So it's usher or to get benefit from a cremation, as we see in Tamura, in the end of Tamura. Ayin Sham, and look over there. That it's written the Tanya, the Shayar, Mace, Tarikh Kavora, Ayin Sham.
Yeah. Okay, that's that. Ayin Sham b'Tiferes Yisrael ala Mishnayos. You see over there the Tiferes Yisrael on the Mishnayos that because of the Tana B'Shire that it was learned in the Mishnah and they left over something to be taught, which is the mace or the mace in the mace surah kegura. That because since the mace is asur b'hana, that's why the mace needs kegura.
It broke.
I'm sorry, say that last sentence again.
No,
Since the mace requires
Over here.
the dead body is usher to get hana from it, that's why it requires burial. So for that reason, the ash also, meaning the ash of the Kedoshim, requires burial, simply because that it's forbidden to get an off from such ash. And the general halakhic ruling is that anything that's forbidden to get benefit from, and because it has to be buried, if it was first burnt, still what remains, the ash also has to be buried also. That's another reason why the afar needs to be buried. Okay, I guess we've gone a little bit over time. Okay, fine. Okay, so that seems pretty clear that there's no doubt. There's most all the poskim were saying that the ash from the Kedoshim definitely needs to be buried. Good. Okay, Mr. Shem will take a little break and continue on with the Mr. Baruch in a few minutes. Roy, have a good day. And
Thank you. You
continue
too.
on.
Be well. Thank you.
Thank you. Be well as well. Have a good
See you
day.
tomorrow, Mr. Shem. Bye.
Mr. Shem. Shalom. Bye.
Okay, thank you, Rabbi.